I'm Will Ortner. Chargers Now is presented by PrizePicks, and we are going to be discussing the latest draft plans for the Los Angeles Chargers and free agency plans, to be honest with you, because General Manager Joe Hortiz, well, he spoke with the media the other day, and he made it pretty clear what his plans are for the future and why he didn't make some moves in the past. Before we get through any of that, though, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 4K. We hit 3,000 subscribers just this week, already gained another 38 subscribers. All you have to do, you hit that sub button. You will be covered on the latest news and rumors around your favorite Chargers team, and you're going to be able to do it right before the NFL draft. So hit that sub button. Quentin Johnston has been someone that has been a divisive figure, I would say, for the Los Angeles Chargers. He's clearly someone that is growing in his role. He is clearly someone that is getting better. The problem is kind of the expectation around him and the fact that Quentin Johnston was a first-round pick and was expected to become a number one wide receiver on this team. Is he going to get there? Maybe, but the expectation was that he should have been there already. So Johnston has definitely been one of those players that's been linked to multiple different trade rumors throughout the 2026 NFL offseason, and it sounds pretty clear that no trades are going to come because General Manager Joe Hortiz made it very clear at his press conference where the team stood with Johnston and kind of where he stood with Quentin Johnston. Joe Hortiz went on to say there's lots of rumors out there on Twitter, X, Mr. Hortiz, let's get with the program. And I can tell you this, I have made 0 calls about Quentin, and I have had 0 calls regarding Quentin. When we look at the career for one Quentin Johnston, it has been something of a slow, steady growth. It does feel like each year he is getting better, and that touchdown number is rising. Now, there's a lot of hope in the Chargers camp that Quentin Johnston will be able to take that next step that he hasn't quite been able to take. But if the Chargers are not going to trade Quentin Johnston and they're not actively looking for trades, just pay the man. He's due his 5th-year extension on May 1st. It's going to be about $18 million. Do it. Make the damn deal. We don't need to keep waiting around. It's time to just make that move if I'm General Manager Joe Hortiz. We learned a lot more. But before we get into any of that, I need to let you know that today's show is possible because of our good friends over at PrizePicks. The playoffs are here for basketball. Baseball is underway, and it's time to cash in with PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. To qualify for a PrizePicks lineup, pick 2 to 6 players and select more or less on stat projections, including points, rebounds, assists, 3-pointers, and several others across all sports. If you're more of a baseball guy, you can choose stats such as hits, home runs, and strikeouts. With the new social feeds feature, you can share PrizePicks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. Producer Searle is available to find on PrizePicks, myself included. You can follow us and get the picks before they even get posted on the show. I have a lineup going on for the basketball action. Anthony Edwards, more on his points, rebounds, and assists. Nikola Jokic, more on his points, rebounds, and assists as well. New user offer. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with PrizePicks. That clickable link to download the app is in the comments and description of this video. Extensions are coming. At least that's what General Manager Joe Hortiz had to say. There's a couple of different players that are going to be big-time contributors for this Chargers team that very clearly need to get an extension, and it's not just Quentin Johnston. General Manager had this to say, and I think this is a great tweet here from Chris Rim of ESPN, saying that both Derwin James and Tuli, there have been contract extension discussions, and it seems very clear that it's only a matter of time for these 2 key defensive players. Both James and Tuli are guys that fit into the long-term success of this ball club. Now, Derwin James is getting up there in age. He's going to be in his 30s here really soon. But both James and Tuli, they fit the defensive system that defensive coordinator Chris O'Leary is going to want to run for the Chargers. And more importantly, they're two big-time players with these squads. In my opinion, as soon as the draft is done, these need to be taken care of. Get these guys locked in so that way they can go into the season without thinking that they have to overperform or potentially hold out. I mean, shoot, rumor floating around the Chat Sports offices right now is that Cardinals quarterback Jacoby Brissett is going to hold out. One, that's a bit ridiculous. But two, you don't want to deal with holdouts in the NFL offseason. Just make it nice, easy, and simple. Next, we're going to talk about some draft intel that we were able to gain from General Manager Joe Hortiz, because this Chargers team, I feel like they're keeping it very close to the vest right now on what they want to do. Again, we're going to go back to Chris Rim's Twitter. You can tell I am a follower. And he had this quote from Joe Hortiz: "We're not done on that offensive line. I can promise you that." Hallelujah! Because I'll tell you right now, this Chargers offensive line depth chart, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not going to say that it's the worst. I'm not going to say that it's the best. It just simply has not been as strong of an offseason for the offensive line as I think most Chargers fans would have wanted. Yes, Tyler Biadsz is a great signing. The guard positions don't love. So it definitely feels like the Chargers are going to make a move to get a big-time guard prospect in the draft. Is it going to be Vega Ioane? Is it going to be Tyler Biadsz? Could it potentially be Keelan Rutledge or Emmanuel Pregnon? These are all things that are going to be very interesting. Be honest with me now down below in the comment section. Is it Vega Ioane or bust for you at pick number 22? Let me know down below in that comment section, yes or no. I think for myself personally, I think I'm at a yes. In fact, if the Chargers have more draft picks, I'd probably suggest potentially moving up to make sure that you can go get him. When it comes to free agency, General Manager Joe Hortiz has been someone that has been labeled a coward. That's probably a bit extreme, but definitely someone who is overly cautious. He is not going to go into the casino and throw all of his money on red. That's not what he does. He is the type of person who goes in and says, well, I want to see where the trends are going. Are things going the right way? Are they going the wrong way? He's cautious. He likes to kind of see things play out before he makes a decision. I thought this was an interesting exchange that was captured again on the great Chris Rim's social media. Joe Hortiz was asked, do you think we'll ever see you go on a crazy spending spree in free agency? Hortiz says, externally, probably not. Probably not. I just believe in building through the draft, and I believe in paying the players you know. That's how I was raised. Well, my mama might have raised me a little bit differently, but it was more about what was I going to eat, vegetables, and fruits. Producer Cyril really liked that joke off screen. When we look at the key free agent signings, now, obviously, they were not afraid to spend some money in free agency, but when you look at Biadsz, Keaton Mitchell, Dalvin Tomlinson, Alec Ingold, and Charlie Kolar, the guys who I would say are the bigger, or at least on the bigger end of free agent signing, guys who are somewhere else that are now coming to the Chargers, how many of these guys are expensive? None really. There's a couple that are a little bit more expensive than others, but for the most part, they're cheap, solid signings. They are guys that the Chargers were definitely okay with making moves for because they weren't going to break the bank. General Manager Joe Hortiz does not want to go all in on a player and then potentially have that player not work. And I understand what he's doing. It's smart, right? It's a conservative approach to free agency. But sometimes you need to take more risks. Sometimes you need to get off of the sidelines and get yourself in the game. Now, I'm not saying that General Manager Joe Hortiz has to just go crazy and start making all kinds of moves that don't make sense. But every once in a while, I would like to see him spend some top money to retain an Odafe Oweh, or to go get a Tyler Linderbaum, or to go get insert big free agent wide receiver here. I just think risks should be taken more. Do you agree with me or disagree with me? I think there's a happy medium, and right now the Chargers are nowhere near that happy medium when it comes to risks. I wanted to end today's show on a lighter note, so after you answer that, you can hit that thumbs up button as well. Offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel, former former head coach Mike McDaniel of the Miami Dolphins, has made it pretty clear what type of player he wants for his offense. And I found this very funny. But essentially, during NFL free agency, McDaniel went into the office of Joe Hortiz and put up wanted posters of running back Keaton Mitchell and Alec Ingold. One, because it says who he wants, but at the same time, the idea of McDaniel going into the office of his superior, of his boss, and printing out wanted posters, well, that's just pretty damn funny. Like, I'm glad that he got the guys that he wants in his offense. In fact, I think Mitchell and Ingold are going to have a lot of success with the Los Angeles Chargers next year. But what I think is the funniest and the most enduring thing about this team is the fact that you have an offensive coordinator that clearly has a little bit of a personality. And the fact that he went in and printed out wanted posters, I think that's awesome. Hit the thumbs up button if you also like that story on today's video. Also, make sure that you hit that sub button if you have not. We're going to have you covered every single day on the Los Angeles Chargers. Don't want you to miss out on any of the news or rumors. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Bolt up.